Hello everyone, this is me again, and yes, finally, today I'm going to do a ranking video of Season 15. Now, this is going to be a very topical video, because I started watching Season 15 on the UK DVD, and I only watched over 4 episodes, reached to the end, because I didn't even finish it. And there are some great concepts, but the way they execute it is poorly. So, let's start with the ranking, shall we? So let's start with Gordon and Ferdinand. I'm gonna be honest, I think this is a good start to the season. I mean, I like Gordon and Ferdinand's character development in this season, because, well, the way they communicate is like Gordon doesn't want to talk to a nerd like, say, Ferdinand. It's basically like Emily's rubbish, but with Gordon. But when realized that Ferdinand didn't say that's right all the time, Gordon is wrong about Ferdinand saying he is frumpy or something, and decided to give Ferdinand a special, which is actually a good, well, a nice thing to do. I tried to think about better. But that's all I got. I think this is a good start to the season, and I think this episode has potential to be a good episode. Toby and Bash. I gotta say this, but I think this is a step up. I really love the episode of Toby and Bash's character development, and I think Toby here is actually in character, and he's trying to understand why that some people or engines, well, have homesickness. Somewhat the Blubber never did, because, they wanted to travel Thomas around the world for no reason whatsoever. But in the end, I think this is actually a pretty good episode. I think this is actually a great one, and I think it's a step up. Emily and Dash. Ooh, that's a tough one. I'll put this on the average tier because it's kind of feel like a All Engines Go episode, but I think it's alright. Nothing special here, just Emily tried to make some tweaking bird noise was absolutely for no reason whatsoever, but I think it's alright, it's average. Percy's new friends. Now, to be honest, I actually kind of like this episode. I actually kind of like the idea of Percy trying to make animal friends, but the way they execute it is so bad. I mean, if you want to choose an engine friendly with animals, I think I suggest I choose Molly for this episode. Basic like a Fluttershy character, but in Thomas the Tank Engine. And I think this could be a good one. Edward the Hero. I'm putting this on the great tier, but probably a bottom of Toby and Bash, because even though I like this episode, I kind of like Toby and Bash more. And let me explain. I do like the idea of Edward trying to be a hero, and I think a good deed makes him a hero is actually a good thing. But what's the problem? It's this phrase. It's just that he wants to be more strong, big, and fast like Gordon. Yeah, I think this is a common resource to Edward Strikes Out. And yeah, but this is a little bit better, but I think this is actually a pretty decent story. Now, James to the rescue. I'm gonna say this, but in my opinion, James to the rescue is the best season 15 episode. Now, to be honest, I really like James and Toby's dynamic here. It's just that, well, it's just about solving problems, like basically like showing what could work or not. It's basically like James tried to solve it by itself, but Toby suggests it was best just to leave to Rocky to do it. But James, being typical, kinda just messed things up. And I think this episode is actually a lot better than the rest. I think James to the Rescue is a fantastic episode, and I think it deserves a lot more better. I kinda understand that James is a little too bossy around here in this episode, and Toby should have fetched Rocky by himself because he know James is gonna do something. Well, you know what you mean. Happy Hero. It's a mixed bag. I mean, I do like the concept idea of Hero and Misty Island reminding him his home, but the way they execute it is so bad. I kind of a mixed bag. Thomas showing Hero around the island is interesting, but they need to take some time before they do it. I honestly don't know why the writers think they want to have more crazy fun. I don't know, probably something. But I think this is the bottom of the list. Up and away. Yeah, I think Up and Away is also a mixed bag. Because, like Happy Hero, it does have a flawed comp set. But I think it's actually handled a little bit okay. It's just that it was too overhated, and I can see why people hate this episode because it was so unrealistic. I mean, Origins Go did a better episode of Up and Away, and I think it was a lot better. I mean, reference the episode of Percy with the balloon. But, in the end, I think Season 15 is a pretty... Well, I think this episode from Season 15 of Up and Away is a step down. And I think it was not good. And I can agree with some people. Henry's Happy Coal. It's a very good message about health and care. Like, I think this also gives a very important message that it's best just to ignore people when they make fun of you. I mean, if people makes fun of you, if you take the same medicine within every day, you just to ignore, and that's it. But if you take it like a different medicine or don't take anything, it makes it worse if you don't take anything. And that is why it was important for your health. I think Henry's Happy Coal is a pretty good episode, and I think it deserves a little bit more praise here. I think this could be takes place in Season 1, when Henry's still in his old shape, and maybe in the mainland, the bigger engines make fun of him. Or maybe James or something. Let It Snow. It's very poorly bad. It's poorly executed. It's just that I honestly don't care for this episode that much. I mean, I honestly don't mind this episode. It's just it was so nothing, and yeah. I don't get what the Misty Island song is. Like, seriously, man. You really don't know what to think what a Christmas song looks? Well, it's just not even worse than Happy Winter Holidays or something. Party Surprise. It's a mixed bag, but I think it's a bit better than Up and Away. I think this episode, way they execute it, is okay. But it's just a carbon copy of Party Surprise from Season 12. And I think the Party Surprise is a lot better than Surprise Surprise or something. I get that right. But in the end, I think this is actually okay. And I think it's alright. Spencer the Grand. Yeah, this is definitely going on the great tier, but not as great as James to the Rescue. I think this episode, I think it has Spencer's character perfectly well, and I think the Miss Fogg animated and CGI was handled really well. I think this is probably, everyone said it was a pretty good episode. But I honestly prefer James to the Rescue better. Stop That Bus. Again, it was a carbon copy of Thomas Score's Big Day Out, so I'm putting it on the average tier between both these episodes. It's just a carbon copy. It's just nothing. But there was one thing that exact same when Bertie on Misty Island, when he shaped violently. The biggest problem with this episode is why they can't just add the safety protection on Bertie. I mean, it has a good concept of Bertie off the road for a while, traveling on rails to see the sights he never seen, like Thomas Score's Big Day Out. But the way they executed was so bland. I honestly don't know why they made it. If I was the writer of this, I would choose Stanley in this episode, and probably think about, say, the same episode when Stanley tries to show Bertie around the island, and maybe he might be too impatient or excited to let Bertie know Dr. Hat was there. Stuck on You. It's okay. I honestly don't mind this episode. I think it's okay. It's just that it was mid. Honestly, don't mind it. It's just mid. That's it. But I think it could be better if Rosie in this episode takes Thomas's place and we get another Rosie episode. It could be better. Big Bell. I think this is actually a pretty good episode in my opinion. I think people have autisms. Not just because they grouch, it's just that they have autism. Toby doesn't like anything was so loud or basically like that because he has autism like Bruno. And that's what Thomas and Friends has autism for some people, including myself. I think they did a pretty decent job, but I think maybe that was just me or something. Heaven to See Me. Yeah, I'm putting it in the bad tier. It's another episode. It's okay to play dangerous places, but seriously, Kevin, why did you cause these problems? You're lucky that Victor didn't fire you. I honestly don't know why Kevin plays dangerous places. All he did is cause accidents. But there's only one credit. I'll give the credit that Kevin got a spotlight role. But this episode doesn't give it, so it could be better. Or, I wish this episode could be better, I don't know. Wonky Whistle. I'm gonna have to put it at the top of the mixed bag. Now, let me explain. I don't hate Wonky Whistle. In fact, it has a good concept. A fare is actually taken by animals and a train has to take it, but something's wrong going the way when on the journey. Yeah, that's basically like that. But the biggest problem with this episode is it's just too overhated. We all know what's the problem with this episode, so it's already being done to death. I mean, I get that people hate this episode, but come on, you could choose the most hated episode. I just don't know why people hate this episode. I can understand their opinions on this, but for me, I just don't know. Probably Thomas's whistles disturb the audiences. I mean, I'd rather take Thomas's wonky whistle than season 23's 2-Hour Thomas, where Thomas is trying to make a horrible song that burns everyone's ears. Percy the Snowman. I'm gonna say this, but this is the worst episode of season 15. Look, I also agreed of Toby Fan 919. I agree with him. It's just that it's Jack Frost, but done worse. Now, let me explain that Thomas definitely needs to borrow Whiff's glasses, but they didn't even see Percy as a giant snowball, which is right next to him. And in the end, Percy just looks nothing like a snowman. Just some snows covered him entirely. Honestly, don't know what writers or Shannon Miller who wrote this. It's just that it was so bland. I prefer Jack Frost in this. I honestly don't know why this episode need to exist. Tree Trouble. It's a mixed bag. I mean, It's fine, at least, but it's basically the top of poor and mixed bag. It's just that it was between the middle. I don't hate this episode, but I think it's average. It could be better if they secure the trees properly, but it's just probably me. And finally, Fiery Flynn. Also going the mixed bag, it's just another bad episode. It's just that Thomas's firebox is on fire. It's just so weird that, of course, he has a firebox because he's a train. I guess the writers didn't know what they're searching about steam engines work. It's just that I honestly don't know why. It's basically like that, and it's also a disgrace to firefighters. It could be a better episode. Well, later in the season, Race to the Rescue fix all the problems. But I still don't like this episode because it was just so overhated. I think this episode is a mixed bag, but not good as well, so I put this in the bad tier as well. And this is my season 15 ranking, and that's pretty much I got. My opinion on season 15 is it's the start of Thomas's downfall. The reason why it starts of the Thomas downfall because all of the stories and writing was so waste that they did nothing to do with Thomas now. It's just bland now. I mean, there are some good episodes, but those are the worst episodes that receive a lot hate and a lot worse episodes that I could describe. I honestly don't know why. It's just season 15 is definitely the weakest season of the show, but people think it's the worst season of the show. I just kind of understand them, but I think there's a true worst season at the end that ends the Thomas season in a bad note. So yeah, in my opinion, season 15 is not the worst Thomas season, but it was the start of the Thomas downfall. So that's pretty much it. And that's my season 15 ranking, so I have nothing worse to say. It's not as good as my previous ranking of season 14, but I'll try my best to stay away from copyrights and videos so that way I won't be, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the 80th anniversary. God, finally I finished reviewing this season.